Hi, Brian.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Sarah.
Sarah, I can't quite see you. If you move a little bit to your right, I think I'll be able to see you.
She's gonna come around.
Table in the
If you
way.
don't want me to see you, that's okay.
I don't mind. Can you see
Hey,
me?
there you are. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Wonderful. One of the questions my group came up with is, in your book, Neil and Dan are talking, and there is a mention about line,
Yes.
modern and postmodern. And then Neil also mentioned something about being above the line. And I
Yes.
think Dan is sort of struggling with these concepts.
Yes.
And so our question is, if within Jesus' context of his time and
Yes.
how he reacted to religion in his time, where is there a way to put him, like
Yeah.
modern, postmodern, and how does that look like on Jesus? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like-
Oh, what a great question, Sarah. So I didn't mean to shut you down there, but no, that's such a good question. Thank you. And Sarah, let me just say, I wrote 2 books after New Kind of Christian where I had exactly the same question. One of them is called The Secret Message of Jesus, and the other is called Everything Must Change. So I had exactly the same question as your group. Let me just give you a couple of quick examples. Let me I'm just trying to make sure that, so if my little pen here represents a line, and we could say modern, postmodern, or we could say liberal, conservative, or we could say Protestant, Catholic, or, we have all of these lines that we draw, and we put people on one end or in the middle or whatever. And in Jesus' day, let me mention what a couple of those would have been. In Jesus' day, on one end of the line, there would have been a political group called the Zealots. The Zealots were political revolutionaries, and they said they were under an occupation by the Romans, and they said, we need to have a violent revolution to get away from the Romans. Over on the other side were a group called the Sadducees. And the Sadducees said, no, it must be God's will that the Romans are in charge, so we should just, get along and be submissive and do what we should. And probably you could say in the middle were the Pharisees. They said, no, they agreed with the Zealots, we need to get free. But they felt that what was required was a religious revival, and people needed to be more strict in observing the law. And if we were to do that, then God himself would liberate us. So you had these views, and you can just see how Jesus would be pressured to fit with one group, the middle group, the extreme group. But I think what Jesus does this is a great example. Jesus rises above the line, and Jesus makes a new proposal up here. And when Jesus talks about the kingdom of God, he's saying to the Zealots, listen, you guys, you're right. God really wants there to be a change, but he doesn't want to do it through violence. And he's saying to the Sadducees, look, you guys, you're right. Violence isn't going to work, but you can't just be complacent and sit back and accept things the way they are. And he said to the Pharisees, yes, you're right. We need to pay attention to the law, but you guys are concentrating on all these little details and you're missing the weightier matters of the law. So instead of taking anybody's side on the line, he calls all 3 groups to a higher perspective. So that would be one example of the kind of thing we're talking about.